This is the Velotric Fold 1. And this is the new Velotric Fold 1 Plus. So what does the Plus mean? It now has Velotric's user-friendly 3.5-inch color LCD display, upgraded smart lighting. The taillight has 3 customizable modes, it's brake actuated, and now has turn signals. And the display beeps when you have them on, which is helpful if you're forgetful like me. Instead of just 5 levels of pedal assist, you have 3 riding modes now with 5 levels in each, giving you a total of 15 pedal assist levels and loads of customization that's easy to adjust through the display. You can change the max speed of the pedal assist and throttle anywhere from 12 miles per hour up to 28. And yes, that's for throttle as well. This bike has cruise control, app connectivity, and for iPhone users, you can link it to Apple Find My. But the thing I'm most excited about is it now has Velotric's SensorSwap, making it the 5th bike in their lineup to allow you to switch between a torque sensor and a cadence sensor. And those are just some of the big updates. There's a lot of small touches to cover as well. In this review, I'll walk through all the components, give you a side-by-side view of what is new and what has stayed the same. Then we'll take the Fold 1 out on the road to explore its performance and new features. Then, as always, we'll wrap things up with some third-person riding footage for the pros and cons and whether or not it's worth the price increase for the updated features. But before all that, let's take a closer look. Velotric is one of the biggest e-bike brands in the US with over 1,000 bike shops in their dealership network, which is great if you prefer the bike shop experience for expert advice or test rides. And they're starting this year out strong. They've already released the Nomad 2 fat tire e-bike, the Breeze 1, their new lightweight model, and now the Fold 1 Plus. And they all have one thing in common: SensorSwap. Velotric first introduced this feature to their lineup last fall thanks to a firmware update for the Discover 2 and Summit 1, and now with the Fold 1 Plus being the 5th model to offer SensorSwap, I think we can expect this going forward. Choosing between a cadence sensor and a torque sensor is a really big consideration, especially if you're new to electric bikes and you've never experienced the difference. So I'm really happy to see that having the option to switch between both in one e-bike is becoming more and more common. There is a lot to like about the original Fold 1. It has a bigger battery, more range, and better hill climbing ability than most folding models in its class, but there were some areas for improvement, and Velotric addressed many of those things with the Fold 1 Plus. And what's great is with these big updates, it doesn't come with a big increase in price. The launch price is $14.99, keeping it competitive and coming in just $300 over the original Fold 1's current pricing. But if you want to check out current pricing or any sales that are going on, you can scan the QR code on your screen. If you plan on picking up the Fold 1 Plus and you want to support the channel, using our affiliate link down in the description when you go to make your purchase is free for you, and it really helps us out. It makes content like this possible, and you might be able to save a little bit using our discount code also in the description. Thank you so much for your support. There are 4 color options on the Fold 1 Plus, 3 of the original electric blue, which you see here, pearl white, and stone gray. Now you can also get mango, which is a vibrant yellow that they've offered on a couple other Plus models. The bike weighs in at 63 pounds. I did weigh both models to test this, and what's interesting is without the battery, they're closer to 57 pounds, and with the battery, closer to 67 pounds. So that 63 pounds is more of an average of with and without the battery. So the weight hasn't changed much, but what has changed is the weight capacity. This can carry up to 450 pounds now. That is 10 more than the original Fold 1. They're able to shave almost a ½ inch off the standover height. It comes in just under 15.5 inches. It supports riders from 4'9" up to 6'5". I am a 6'1" rider with shoes on, and you can see I have no problem getting the full leg extension. And my wife Chesney is 5'4", and she also had no problem getting a comfortable fit on this bike. Now let's walk around the bike to see what's new and what has stayed the same. The braking system is the same unbranded 2-piston hydraulic disc brakes and 180mm rotors, and the same setup on the back. The front wheel bolts on, but now it's capped for a cleaner look. There's a strip of rubber here to protect the fork when the bike is folded. The wheel size is the same. They're 20 by 3-inch tires, but they're now from Aerosund. They're the K Rubber series. The original Fold 1 has Chow Yang Hippo Skin tires. And this is the tread on the Fold 1. That is almost identical to the knobby tread on the Fold 1 Plus. The metal fenders are included, full coverage in the rear as well. They do contour to the tire a little bit better. The original Fold suspension fork is unbranded. It has silver stanchions, preload, and lockout. The Fold 1 Plus has a hydraulic suspension from Trauma with black stanchions. There is no preload adjustment, but it does have a lockout. It has the same 60 millimeters of travel. This is what you can expect. You got the Velotric badge on the front and the same 4-bolt mounting pattern on the front for a basket or rack. The folding latch on the handlebars is the same. The cable routing is the same. It goes through the down tube, but now you do have the headlight and the display in the center of the handlebars. And then you have the same telescoping handlebars for height adjustment with a quick release. And now a brighter Velotric branded headlight. It's 130 lux with an IPX6 rating. The rear light is still brake actuated, but there is now 3 different light modes. There is steady and the brake light just brightens. Flashing with a steady brake light, or steady with a flashing brake light. And to round out the lighting, you now have turn signals. You also have the reflector on the front and underneath the saddle. We have hydraulic disc brake levers with motor cutoff. The locking ergonomic rubber grips has a similar shape, but it does have a different grip pattern. The throttle is now under the bar. It is an ergonomic thumb style throttle. And here's the throttle on the Fold 1. Instead of a 3-button controller, now you have a 7-button controller. It is really user-friendly. I'll go over that in a second. And under the controller is a USB-C port for charging devices. Moving to the right side, we still have Shimano's 7-speed trigger shifter. And you can't forget about the included bell. It has more of a dome shape now. And no longer do we have the left-mounted black and white display with integrated controls. They split that up, and front and center we have Velotric's color LCD display, and it's 3.5 inches, so it is very big, very easy to read, and there's a lot more information, and customizing your settings is super user-friendly, so I'll walk you through all of that. Starting out, we have our battery readout in the upper left corner. Underneath that, we have our riding mode. There are 3 riding modes to work with. You press the bottom button on the controller to switch between them. You have Eco, Trail, and Boost. And underneath, we have our light indicator. When you turn on the display, the default setting is automatic lighting. When the screen detects it's dim enough, it will automatically turn on the lights for you. But you can manually turn on the lights by holding the pedal assist up button. Indicator lit up there. Front and center we have our speed, and this gray bar that is arching over the speed is going to tell you how much power you are drawing from the motor at a glance. Then you have your pedal assist level on the right side here, and you have 5 levels in each riding mode. And yes, this has sensor swap, so underneath that you can tell if you're riding with the cadence sensor or the torque sensor. I'll show you how to switch between that in a second. And at the bottom of the screen, you do have a lot more information at a glance. You have your trip distance, you have your trip time, you short press on the menu button, and you'll get some more information like average speed, max speed, calories burnt, CO2 saved, your odometer, total time, and your motor temp and controller temp. And I do really like how easy it is to read, but my favorite thing about this display is how easy it is to change the settings on your e-bike. Long hold on the menu button, that will pull up all your options. And first up, we have our speed limit. So if you short press on the menu button, that's how you select. You can change your pedal assist speed or throttle speed anywhere from 12 miles per hour to 28 miles per hour. So you use your turn signal keys to navigate to the speed you want. You use your pedal assist speeds to go up and down on the menu. Very intuitive. And yes, you can even change the speed of your throttle up to 28 miles per hour, which is less common on e-bikes. You press the bottom button to navigate to the previous screen. And then second option, really easy to switch between your cadence sensor and torque sensor. Just press the arrow that you see on the screen. You can clear your trip data. You can change your screen brightness. You have 5 levels you can work with, or you can just set it to automatic lighting. You can also change your riding mode through the display. This is where you can change your lighting mode for the rear light. You have 3 modes. This is where you can turn your automatic lighting on and off on the bike. Here's where you can change your timeout settings, anywhere from off to 60 minutes. And then we have throttle limited. It's kind of a lot to talk about, so I will go over that during the riding footage. And then this bike does have cruise control. I'll go ahead and turn that on for the riding footage. You can turn the turn signal indicator beep on and off. We'll connect to the app in a second. If you're an Apple user, this is where you can connect to Apple Find My. You can change the unit from miles per hour to kilometers here. And you can also calibrate your torque sensor right through the display. So it says to optimize your ride, calibrate the torque sensor with no objects on the pedals and without pressing them. So as long as there's nothing on the pedals, you can press menu to confirm and it will recalibrate the torque sensor for you. This is where you can get your version info. And those are all the settings you can change from within the display. But let's go ahead and connect to our app here. So we'll hit that, it pulls up a QR code, then grab your phone and download the app. I already downloaded it and created an account, and make sure your Bluetooth is on. I'm going to click pair my bike and find the Fold 1 Plus. Let's scan that QR code and wait a few seconds. All right, we can name our e-bike. I'm going to name it EE for e-bike escape and F1P for Fold 1 Plus. Finish. And there we go, we're in the app. And this is a very minimal app. What I like is you can leave it behind and just change all the settings on the display. But there are some incentives that make it worth checking out the app. On the main screen though, you just see your bike. You can get a quick glance at your battery and odometer. In the upper left corner is where your e-bike name is. Let's say you have more than one Velotric bike. You can pair more than one bike to this app. This is where you're going to record your ride so you can see on a map the route you took. It will compile all of your ride data and I'll show you where to access that in a minute. You also get a secondary display so you can see your speed, your riding mode, your pedal assist level. And if you swipe up on the screen, you can see all the details that are listed on the bottom of the display as well. And you can pause your ride and pick up where you left off. And if you're done riding, you just hold this button to stop. But let's push the button under Start Riding, Bike Settings. Now, you can change very easily all these settings on the display. The main advantage to this is you can see the overall state of your settings all on one screen. And if you don't want to navigate and press a bunch of buttons in order to change the settings, you can use the touch screen, which is very intuitive. I'll just run through this really quick. You got your riding mode, screen brightness, speed limit, auto power off, auto light, cruise control, throttle limited, turn signal click, sensor swap, and set unit. So everything I showed you on the display. But at the bottom here is where you can update your firmware. Now I mentioned that the Discover 2 and Summit 1 both got that firmware update that enabled sensor swap. They didn't launch with that feature. So the Fold 1 Plus should improve with time. If there's any bugs or room for improvement, Velotric can give you an update over the air. And who knows, maybe there will be some features we don't know about yet. And then we'll go back to the main screen here. And lastly, upper right corner, you see this avatar. If you tap on that, this is where you can access all of your ride data. So this My Ride section is where you're going to find your compiled ride information. You can look at it on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly view. You can also manage your account from here. You can change the unit of your recorded rides from miles to kilometers. Data synchronization is where if you're going to want to take all that ride information and pair it with a health app like Apple Health, you can do it from here. You can also check to see if there's any app updates from here. You can get some information about Velotric, and the help section is going to give you FAQs. You can send feedback to Velotric, and you can also source part replacements if something does break on the bike. And that is it for the app. It is very minimal, very easy to use. It gives you most of the features you want. Maybe the only feature that I would wish to have on this app is the ability to plan a route, but I also like leaving the phone behind. So it's great that you have the option of just having a standalone bike experience, but you can enhance the experience a little bit with the app. Velotric's logo on the down tube. We have Fold on the chainstay. Velo power on the other side, designed by Velotric in California. 2 separate mounting points on the down tube, and the folding mechanism on the frame has a small modification. You have more of a standard nut here that is easier to latch than the original Fold 1's more rounded nut. No change on the pedals, still from Theomin plastic folding pedals with reflectors. Same setup for the seat. Quick release for the seat post adjustment, and Velotric's Urban Comfort ergonomic seat. It is as comfortable as the name implies. No change to the short rear mounted kickstand. Has a nice wide foot on it. This is the same model battery. Turn the key to the right to remove it and lift. Pull it up through the window. The capacity of the battery is 13 amp hours, and it has an advertised range now of 68 miles. That's 13 more than the Fold 1. That's because of the added efficiency of the torque sensor. The battery is UL2271 certified with an extra known component certification from UL in Canada and the US. The bike's electronics are UL2849 certified, and beyond that, the battery is IPX7 rated. You can literally dunk this in water, dry it off, and keep riding your bike. And the bike is IPX6 rated. Definitely best in class water resistance. And to install the battery, slide it through the window, line it up, push it down, and you can remove the keys while you ride. And here's the dust cover. This is the charging port, and there is an LED indicator on the side here. Press the button for a quick view of the battery's charge. The rear rack is the same with a 120 pound capacity, and Velotric's motor, which has 750 watts with a peak wattage of 1100 watts, and now 5 more Newton meters of torque at 75 Newton meters total. And that motor is now engaged with either a cadence sensor or a torque sensor thanks to SensorSwap. No change to the derailleur. We have a basic Shimano tourney, and the gearing is the same 11 to 28 teeth on the cassette, and follow the chain up to the 52 tooth chain ring. This is a folding bike after all, so let's go ahead and fold it. I'm going to start by dropping the seat. Push in to fold the pedals. We'll get the handlebars next. You do have to hold down on the lever because there is a safety latch, just in case you don't latch it all the way, it won't fold when you're riding. Fold the frame next. You can brace it with your leg. Pull on it. It's pretty stiff out of the box. There we go. It sits on this metal stand underneath the frame. It has the same folded dimensions as the Fold 1, and it's not the lightest folding model out there, but it is still convenient for storage and a great solution for RVers. Have noticed these pedals can kind of get caught, so you might have to jiggle them around to find the sweet spot. That's it for the walk around. Let's head to the pavement to test out the performance and walk through all the new features. See you over there. All right, I made it to our riding destination. We're going to do our usual performance test, but then I'll also walk you through a lot of these new features too, and just kind of give you an idea of when and why you'd want to use them. But let's go ahead. We're going to dial the throttle into 20 miles per hour. That is the max throttle speed you can expect on most e-bikes, but remember, this one can go up to 28 miles per hour. We will test that as well. Just a couple things to note before I kick off here. As I'm a 200-pound rider, it's about 50 degrees, and I do have a full battery charge. All right, but we got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Throttle only in 3, 2, 1, go. And that first mile per hour was really gentle, but we're already up to 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 on the GPS. So pretty quick acceleration. And let's go back into the settings and crank things up to 28 miles per hour now. And there we go. Just an FYI, whenever you set your throttle above 20 miles per hour, it's no longer technically street legal. So you should only use that really if you're on private roads. But I don't have any good private roads to actually test this out on, so I'm going to risk the ticket for testing purposes. But with that, let's do this. Throttle only to 28, and 3, 2, 1, go. All right, we're already up to 15. There's 20. 25, 26, 27, 28, 27 on the GPS. There's 28. So display looks like it's reading out maybe a little bit fast, but the GPS can lag behind a little bit, but it does make it to the max 28 miles per hour. All right, while we're on the topic of throttles, let's explore our first feature here, and that's going to be throttle limited. So what this means, if you've ever been on the original Fold 1 or any Cadence sensor bike that uses a speed-based pedal assist system, you'll know that each level of pedal assist has a speed limit attached to it. So pedal assist level 1 might be around 9 to 12 miles per hour. Pedal assist level 2 will give you a few more miles per hour, and it just increments until you reach the max speed and max pedal assist of the bike. So in the settings here, I currently have throttle limited turned on for the Cadence sensor, and I have it turned off for the torque sensor. I am in Eco pedal assist level 1. Let's do this. This should stop me at about 9 miles per hour. There we go, motor turned off. I am rolling down a hill, that's why I'm going a little bit faster, but you can pedal alongside this, but you're not going to get any extra support from the motor. The motor's going to cut off at that 9 miles per hour. And the riding mode doesn't really make a difference for the speeds. It will make a difference for acceleration though. We're going to go to the next pedal assist level. We should get a little boost of a couple miles per hour here. So 12 miles per hour, go up again. This should bring us to 14, 15 miles per hour. There we go, the motor cut off. One more, that should bring us up to closer to 17, 18. And then the last level of assist, oops, there we go. Pedal assist level 5 will bring us up to the max 20 miles per hour. All right, so now if you want to swap sensors while you're riding, you have to be moving to do this, but if you hold the menu button for about 2 seconds, you will switch to the torque sensor mode. Now, I'll come to a stop here and we will throttle again, and we should be able to get up to the max 20 miles per hour. So let's do that. Here we go. And there's 20 miles per hour. So if you want to be tied to the different levels of pedal assist as far as speed goes, turn that throttle limited on. You can do it for Cadence or torque sensor. So cruise control works just like you'd imagine if you've ever used it on a car. As long as you're going above 5 miles per hour, you can set it to any speed. So I'm gonna go this. Maybe I'll get the torque sensor on. So this is a very punchy motor when you have the Cadence sensor going. But I'm going to go about 12, 13 miles per hour here. And this bottom button, you just hold it for 3 seconds. There we go. And I have cruise control rolling. There is a little indicator at the top of the screen to let me know it's on. And so yeah, if you want your bike to do all the work for you, you don't want to hold on the throttle for a very long time, you have access to cruise control. So there are 4 ways you can cancel cruise control. Just like on a car, you can hit the brakes. If you hit the throttle, that will also cancel it. If you change your pedal assist level, that will also cancel it. And if you change the riding mode, that will cancel it as well. You can pedal alongside the cruise control, but you're not going to get any extra support from the motor above whatever speed you have it set to. So it's going to be all leg power from there. But yeah, pretty easy to use. If you do want to use it, you just got to make sure it's turned on in the settings. So let's explore these riding modes and pedal assist levels, because now we have 10 more to work with, 15 total. And what we're also going to do is talk about the Cadence sensor and the sensor swapping to the torque sensor. So I'm riding with the Cadence sensor now. So this is where I'm going to use my pedal assist levels to dial in what speed I want. I currently have the bike programmed to a max speed of 28 miles per hour with pedal assist. So when I'm riding with the Cadence sensor, even in Eco, this motor feels really strong. And I usually keep it in the top gear. I'm in 7th gear right now. And if I'm just like starting from a stop like this, I don't even need to, but you can use the throttle to kind of help you with takeoff. Then you don't have to mess with your drivetrain too much. So right now I'm doing what's called ghost pedaling, and I'm spinning my legs slower than what the drivetrain can keep up with. So no effort at all on my legs, and I'm getting that full speed. But this is the magic of this bike. You have now sensor swap. But what is really cool is if your bike is moving, you can hold on that menu button and it will swap to the torque sensor. Hopefully you can see that on the display. So now I'm in pedal assist level eco, and my legs are doing most of the work. I'm getting a little bit of support from the motor. You can see I'm pulling a little bit of wattage. So you're not tied to a specific speed limit when you're riding with the torque sensor. You can see I'm going downhill a little bit, but I'm holding at about 15 miles per hour. If I push into my legs, I will get more support from the motor. And this is with some pretty good effort. I won't want to ride like this too long. You can see I can get up to 22 miles per hour in the first level of pedal assist. So you're really, with the pedal assist, controlling how much support you're getting alongside your pedaling with the torque sensor. So if you want to maximize your range, torque sensors are a lot more battery efficient because you're only getting as much power from the motor as you need, as opposed to the Cadence sensor that gives you that consistent support. And I noticed there is crossover or redundancies in the pedal assist levels. And I think that's okay because there's 15 levels of pedal assist to work with. That's a lot to navigate through. So the way I like to use this, and what I recommend for my friends, is just pick a mode where you're comfortable. If you want maximum efficiency, ride an eco. And if you want the motor to really take over, but you still want to stay connected to the pedals, ride with the torque sensor and boost. So we're going to test out acceleration up to 28 miles per hour again with the Cadence sensor. And I have it in third gear. I imagine I'm going to be shifting up really fast because it's going to give me the full motor support. So reset my speed here. All right, pedal assist up to 28. Acceleration test. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, pedal. And my tire lifted up a little bit. Already shifting up. We're at 20 miles per hour already. I'm in top gear. 25, 26, 27, and there's 28. All right, we're gonna get into our hill climb test in a second, but I have some railroad tracks here. Another nice thing about this bike is you have the 3-inch tires and the front suspension. So hitting those bumps are much more comfortable than something that has a rigid fork on it, of course. But if you do want to level up the comfort a little extra, we do have a really nice suspension seat post that we sell at shop.ebikeescape.com. This is the hill that we test most of our e-bikes on, so we can put up a graphic so you can see what it actually looks like. The GoPro just makes this hill look a lot smaller than it actually is. It's a massive hill. But what we're doing on this test is just seeing what the minimum speed is going to be. I have probably about 70% battery power right now, and it looks like I bottomed out at about 13 miles per hour, and we're picking up in speed right away again. So I hit kind of a steep part, and it just kind of dropped me down. All right, and out of all the folding models that I've tested on this hill, the Fold 1 Plus is definitely at the top of the list as far as capability goes. All right, we're gonna zoom to the bottom of this hill here, and we will test the pedal assist up the hill one more time. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick brake test here. So I'm gonna try to get this bike up to the max speed. We're headed downhill. All right, and I'm gonna pull on the brakes in 3, 2, 1. I locked out the tire a little bit, but the braking capability is very good. All right, and I have time for one more performance test here. I am in the torque sensor. I'm going to dial this back into Eco Pedal Assist 1, and let's walk through these riding modes and just see what the climbing ability is when you're pedaling. I'm riding with the torque sensor first because the Cadence sensor makes this hill just so easy to climb. So I'm in first gear with the torque sensor, putting in moderate effort. Feel like my legs are doing a little more work than I'd like. So I'm going to shift up pretty quick through these, because what I want to showcase is the torque sensor does give you good hill climbing ability. And it's great if you want to keep your legs in the mix doing some of the work. I'm going to shift up into pedal assist level 5. Got a good boost in power there. But when we get close to the top of the hill, I'm going to swap into the cadence sensor, and we should just rip through the last part here. All right, I'm going to go into riding mode trail because I'm getting a little tired. So pedal assist level 3 is kind of where I left off in eco pedal assist level 5. Still feeling a good burn in my legs. I'm going to go up into pedal assist level 5, and there the motor took a lot of the weight off my legs. So let's go into riding mode boost. And this is pretty easy to pedal. Let's go up into pedal assist level 4. I can shift up. I'm in 3rd gear now. Definitely feel the motor working harder as I shift through the gears. And pedal assist level 5. And I can still feel my legs working a little bit, but very easy. Let's swap into the cadence sensor, and I think I'm going to rip up the rest of this hill. Yep, here we go. Shifting up. And my legs are barely doing anything, and that made very light work of the rest of that hill. So overall, this is a very, very versatile bike now with the option of a torque sensor or cadence sensor. Just the setup of those bigger tires, almost fat tires at 3 inches. You got the knobby tread. So if you want to do a little bit of off-roading, like I can ride on this with a lot of confidence. The suspension is handling a lot of the bumps. And my first e-bike, I had a cadence sensor on it because I wanted to ride it to work instead of driving my car. And I didn't want to get too sweaty. So what's nice is you can get the fresh air, you can get the bike riding experience. Maybe you have some consideration like pain in your knees. The cadence sensor is just going to make the riding experience pretty effortless. Having the torque sensor allows you to have that natural pedaling experience and maybe get a workout in. And like I said earlier, you just get more efficiency out of the motor as well. Time to wrap things up though with some third-person riding footage. I'll give you the pros and cons and let you decide whether these new features are worth the extra $300. It's exciting to see Velotric really refining their lineup. They're not just throwing features at the wall, they're adding things people have actually been asking for. Plus, they're building out a solid foundation with things like their growing dealership network, over 1,000 now, which is great if you prefer the bike shop experience. Add in over-the-air updates and the feeling that Velotric is a brand built to last, and you've got a really strong base before we even dive into the bike itself. One of the biggest upgrades here is Velotric's SensorSwap technology. This system lets riders choose between a cadence or a torque sensor. And the really practical part is you can switch between them while you're riding. That gives you a lot of adaptability for different situations. Plus, because the torque sensor is more efficient, the estimated range gets a nice bump, about 13 miles more, even with the same battery. It also gives you that really smooth, intuitive riding experience and lets you opt out of the speed-based pedal assist system used by the cadence sensor. And you can leverage the cadence sensor's strengths for a more thrilling, effortless ride. And those new to e-bikes don't have to worry about picking the wrong sensor. The motor gets a slight upgrade too. It keeps the 750 watt nominal rating, but boosts the peak output to 1100 watts and the torque to 75 newton meters. I tested both the Fold 1 and the Plus, and it was even better at hill climbing, holding at 13 to 14 miles per hour on the throttle-only hill climb test versus the original's 11 miles per hour. And the acceleration was noticeably faster with a gentle takeoff that felt controlled. You also get an updated display and enhanced lighting. Velotric's 3.5-inch color LCD is clear, easy to read, and provides detailed information like motor and controller temp, and lets you access all the advanced settings right there. No app needed if you don't want it, but there is good incentive to check out the app if you do. With all of your settings available on one screen, ride tracking, Apple Health integration, and firmware updates that should improve the Fold 1 Plus over time. It has a light sensor for automatic lighting and screen brightness, the headlight itself is brighter and IPX6 rated, the rear light is customizable with 3 modes, and now there are turn signals integrated. The 3 distinct riding modes, each with 5 levels of pedal assist, offer flexibility. This setup lets you fine-tune the power across 15 steps if you want, or you can just pick your favorite mode and use its 5 levels for simplicity. The Fold 1's throttle speed was tied to the pedal assist level, which wasn't our favorite. Velotric addressed that. You now have the option to set the throttle for full available power up to your programmed speed, no matter the pedal assist level, or keep the old linked behavior. You can even have different settings depending on whether you're using a cadence or torque sensor. For connectivity, the bike now includes Apple Find My, which is great peace of mind for iPhone users. Now, it's important to mention that Android users like myself don't get that Find My GPS tracking benefit, but I still think it's good they included it for those in the Apple ecosystem. For safety and durability, you have UL certification for the battery and the electronics, and Velotric's best-in-class IPX ratings, meaning you can basically ride it in any rainy conditions. The bike's payload capacity is up by 10 pounds to 450 pounds total, and they managed this without adding weight to the bike itself. They even managed to shave a ½ inch off the standover height, improving on the original's already low frame. Ride comfort comes from Velotric's Urban Comfort ergonomic saddle, and the front suspension and those 3-inch wide tires help make the bike versatile for on and off-road applications. Velotric also tweaks some smaller details that make a difference, like an easier to latch frame, a new dual accessory mount on the down tube, more contoured fenders, and black stanchions for a cleaner look. Now, like any bike, there are a few things to keep in mind. The derailleur is still fairly basic, a Shimano tourney. Especially when you're feeling connected through the torque sensor, shifting can feel a little bit less refined than you might hope for at this price. An upgrade here would have been nice. And the weight and folding process are worth talking about. On our scale, it came in at 67 pounds with the battery, 4 pounds over spec, though about 57 pounds without the battery, which is under spec. Folding is definitely useful for storage and transport, especially for RVers, but the weight does make it a bit cumbersome to handle. The frame's hinge felt quite stiff initially, and the plastic folding pedals sometimes need to be jiggled a little bit to unfold properly. Also, the throttle does rest on the suspension fork when it's folded. Battery placement is the same behind the seat post. Getting a good grip to pull it out can be a little awkward sometimes, though personally I prefer this to designs where you have to fold the bike to remove the battery, though I do see the security advantages to batteries that do live in the frame. Let me know in the comments, do you think all these new features and refinements justify the updated price point? I think they do represent a significant step up in capability and features. If you agree and you're planning on picking up the Fold 1 Plus, using our affiliate link found in the description below when you go to make your purchase is a great way to support the channel at no extra cost to you. We really appreciate that support. And remember to check out the description for our discount code for some potential savings. I think the Velotric Fold 1 Plus is a really solid evolution. The SensorSwap tech, increased power, upgraded features, and thoughtful refinements make it a very capable and adaptable folder. While you'll want to consider things like the basic derailleur and the quirks of folding a heavier bike, the Fold 1 Plus still offers a really compelling package of power, versatility, and modern tech for riders looking for a premium folding experience. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on our reviews. We have a ton more on the way. That's going to do it for this one though. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.